All right, well, hey, welcome back, boys and girls, to the channel. Today, yeah, there's some things going on. I would like to share with you if you are interested. One of them is a co-worker of mine. He shall remain anonymous. We talked about it for quite some time. He has a bass guitar, which we're looking at now. It's a cool looking Ibanez bass. It's a Geo. It looks cool, man. But when we look further down into this, I want to say shame on you, my coworker. Look at this. The frets are very tarnished. The bass definitely has seen better days. There's definitely a lot of grime and it needs a good cleanup. I'm going to check the electronics cavity. They do seem kind of loose. They probably need to be tightened down and cleaned out. We'll hydrate the neck, polish the frets, set the intonation. I'm pretty sure these strings will just pop off and I can reuse them. He says they're new. I noticed that might need just a little bit of neck adjustment on the truss rod. But overall, a nice looking bass. Pretty cool. But definitely needs some love and attention. You know, I hate to see any instrument get to this level because a lot of it's just, grime from sitting around. And when that happens, it starts to collect a lot of oxidation and pitting. And, you got to keep it in the case. Even a soft bag, it may not be an expensive bass, but even a bass like this can be a lot of fun. But I'll always try to stress, take care of your instruments. They'll give you a lot of love back. It doesn't take a lot to take care of them. But keep them clean, keep them hydrated, and get a soft bag. What do they cost? 30, 40 bucks at the most. And so we're going to work on that. So let's get to the real story here, guys. And that is, I want to show you something very interesting. Welcome to the home studio. This is my bedroom. A lot goes on here. Yeah, not here, no, but over here. So I want to talk about the Tonex plug. Now, I actually got this for free because these guys, when it first came out, I bought it. And for about 3 weeks, I heard nothing from this company. And I was like, hey, what the F, man? Where is my thing? And so I went back and forth with these guys for quite some time. And I just said, look, if you're not going to send me the product, then just refund me my money. Like, why even, I haven't heard of a company where you buy something and then they leave you in the dark for 3 weeks. That's kind of crazy. So we went back and forth. And finally, when I just kind of threatened that I was going to open up a case against them through PayPal, oh, yeah, I got their attention right away. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're really sorry. We don't know what happened. And blah, blah, blah. And the guy says, well, if we send it out today, will you be okay with that? I'm like, yeah, if you ship it out, if you send me something that says you shipped it out today, I'm cool. But man, what's up? Anyway, the next thing I knew, they just refunded my money. They were probably F you, Todd. Okay. So then a week later, this came in. I'm like, go figure. Anyway, so I've been messing with this thing. Away went the Fractal, the AM4. I really don't have a need for that with all the digital power processing of so many other things that I have. And again, with the Fractal AM4, it's just not for me. And in reality, it's not going to be for everybody. And a lot of the Fractal clan came out and pretty much probably didn't like the fact that I didn't find it to be as easy as they did. But that's okay. You know, I appreciate all the comments. It just kind of shows the diversity of when versus, you know, people like Toyotas more than Fords or, you know, Chevy. But yeah, a lot of the fractal community was not happy about me saying that it's not for everybody. And it's not. It's never going to be. And there are other things that fractal could have did better. Now, this particular unit is something you plug into your guitar with your headphones. And I saw a YouTuber, however, using an interface that is now up and active on my desktop. I didn't even know this was possible, and I didn't want to tie up my phone while I was using this product. You basically plug it in into your input jack, and then you can control it there by using the Tonex plug app, which is great. I seem like the app doesn't come close to the editing power that the Tonex editor provides. And so I discovered this last night when I was watching a YouTuber, Jonathan. I think it's Jonathan Kane. He's a pretty well-known YouTuber. But anyway, he had this unit up. And I was like, wait a minute, how did you do that? So this is what I would like to really try to get into, the scene. What's up? What's up? Okay, so I just want to make a small note of this without getting too far into it. I'm going to tell you that this Tonex unit here, $150, is going to give you all the sound you need for stadium rock, clean stuff, but the effects that they're providing for you are just as equivalent to anything else in the market today, if not better. And I'll give you a small example of that. But here's one thing that I really like about what they did when talking about their amps, which, you know, when you're dealing with fractal AM4, you have to have a sort of, you know, knowledge base of what you're doing. And I love this menu because it's telling you when you choose something or what the preset is about. It's, you know, stomp based on Ibanez TS9, blah, blah, blah. Amp based on, there you go. Cab based on, that is very informational when you're trying to discover, when you're looking at certain menus, what it is you're playing through, what is it mimicking. For a lot of us, you know, we want things to be simplified, but it also creates knowledge by understanding as we play through it and adjusting things, just what it is we're doing. Because this is the new environment, interfaces, fractal, you know, and all kinds of other digital processors, the Line 6 Helix, the Stadium. Every interface has its own particular things, but this is only $150. And here I have it chained in right here through my effects pedal, coming out here, and you'll see I have the USB-C connected to my computer, which is also powering the unit at the same time, so it will never, the battery won't ever die because it's continuous power, but it's also acting as the interface to be talking to the interface on the desktop. So it's a constant line of communication and power at the same time. What's good about this particular, and this was all by accident last night, as I had it plugged into my guitar, I was like, well, wait a minute. Is it possible to run this through my effects pedal out, right? And then into my computer. And so this 1/8 jack stereo is running into channels 7 and 8 right here. Okay, so, but I didn't want to use my phone app to control the unit. And so when I was watching, this was all by accident, when I was watching Jonathan Kane, I was trying to figure out how to because in order to get this editor, you have to download you have to have the serial number. And I was searching forever in a life for me, like, where is the serial number? Oh my God. And I didn't realize that the serial number, oops, I'm kind of trying to do, was right here on the Tonex thing that you get to download the app. And then and so once I did that, well, it opened up this opportunity for me. Hold on, I'm going to put this over here. But this is cool because here, even in this $150 interface, you have cab options right here to move your mic around. It's like, you got virtual IR response, you got the tone model itself, and then your custom IR response if you have a library of them. But looking at this interface, it's really simplistic, really easy to use. You have your compression here, on and off, your settings, pre or post, and all of these make a sound difference. It's not like it gets kind of washed out. You really do hear a sound difference. In the delay, you're only going to get two, but the two are the most common that you will use. It'll be a tape, digital, or ping pong, depending on, like, see, there's a ping pong here, and you see digital and tape. But to get like that stadium rock, which everybody seems to like stadium rock, it's full ambient, Leon Todd and everybody in the world likes to do the stadium rock of, it sounds cool, and it gives you a lot of freedom. It gives you a lot of space and time for all that. And it sounds big. It just sounds huge. And it sounds great. And the reverbs, again, plate, spring 1, 2, room, plate, and there's more in there. But, when you pick one, it'll bring down the menu for others. So it's kind of weird in that sense. But the plate is like awesome. And then you have your amps, and then you got your whole list of amps. You got clean amps, high gain amps, drive, complex rigs, 51 short lead, blah blah blah. I haven't even really spent a lot of time with this, but I'm going to just show you just how nice this thing can sound. It's got a built-in noise gate. You got your modulation here for flanger, chorus, tremolo, phaser, rotary, some really good stuff. But the effects in here are really top of the line. Like, damn, they are really, really good. And you can do just about anything within this menu. And it's really, really nice. And this is controlling. This is all Bluetooth, So you can do Bluetooth, with your phone also. Or you can run a USB cable, which will power the unit and also allow you to run the editor. That's a lot for $150. And the sound is amazing. Now let's get into the sound a little bit. So hold on. And before we get into the sound, I want to tell you that the guitar, the Leo Jaymz, is up. It is completely assembled. The adjustments I made to this guitar, these are the same pickups that it came with. While the neck was off, I did some fret work, softened up the ends. There was a little bit of fret spur going on. I did shim the neck because of the break. I added my own Fender 3-way toggle switch and my own, these 500K pots were from another guitar. And I decided to use these because they were already sort of soldered together with their own little capacitor. But everything came together, In the back, looks pretty decent. Now, I used Tight Bond glue. I sledgehammered this thing back into place. It kind of went down most of the way, but there was about 1/8 of an inch of a gap, and it wouldn't go any further because the crack was so jagged. I don't have any tools for that, so I just lathered that thing with Tide Bond, used my rubber mallet, slammed it in there, gave it 3 or 4 days to dry off. And then I used some wood filler to fill in some of the cracking. And then I bought some purple paint and filled in the gaps so that the wood filler would be kind of masked. It's It's not perfect, but we saved it from the trash, and it's a playable guitar. The intonation, believe it or not, I didn't even touch the intonation. It's still really, really good. And so I'm very surprised that it turned out as good as it did for what actually happened to this. I mean, I'm really disappointed that FedEx, the driver or whoever mishandled this guitar, just was really inconsiderate to the. No matter if it was the same driver that I had a problem with, we're gonna find out, because I ordered another one of these guitars in an S series. I want to just see if I really am having a problem. So we'll see next Wednesday. It's going to be a different unit, but the same guitar, same style sort of thing. But for $200, I think this is a great guitar. In with a lot of the Chinese imports, I mean, the bridge speaks for itself. The pickups can always be upgraded, no matter how it comes. I had to change the pots because the one that had a coil tap also was damaged, so I needed to do that. But there she is, guys, all fine. Now, is it going to hold? I'm going to say yes, because there's just a lot of things in the cracks, the glue, the tie bond. I mean, will it give out over time? Who knows? Through temperature changes, will it just snap one day? I don't know. But tie bond is a pretty strong glue, so but the purple paint really did hide a lot of the ugliness that was back here. And so in that area right there, so it's not perfect, guys, but we saved the body from the trash, and it is a functioning guitar. So now it's got a little bit of a history. What becomes of it? I don't know. This burl top, it's kind of cool. It's got that burst and stuff. But anyway, let's get to hearing this. Right now I'm plugged into the Tonex plug-in. But let me get one more thing set up. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm going to show you the menu and just how a little bit of tweaking on this $150 Tonex plug-in really can give you the sounds that most of us look for when we're playing in our bedroom, or especially those who are using their computers or laptops and monitors for tone. So I'm in bank number 2. This is the second patch. It's called Some Grit. It's got a Marshall Jaymz 800 with a virtual cab. Now the cab, to change the cab right now, here's the middle position. Here's the neck. Drop the volume. And this is the Leo Jaymz that was smashed to bits. Still in the neck. Now, getting to the cabinet, as I showed you, we're in a virtual. And what's cool is if you grab this, there you can adjust your mics. I thought that was really ingenious. You can also imagine this is a really nice editor for $150. You can switch your mic, your panning to favor one mic, blend them both, Move this over here. And yeah, you can change the mics. I mean, there's a menu for a mic here, dynamic room, Reuben 21. We're not going to get into that. I'm just showing you. Now, if I go into just the tone of the model itself, Now we're going to get a different tone. I'm in the middle position. It brightened up a lot. Neck position. Edge breakup, bridge pickup. Okay, so now we just go back to here, and what I can do now that it's plugged into my pedals is I can turn on, let me go over here to modulation, because this is where I'm going to go at. I can run my own distortion out of this right here. Let me lower that a little. That is really tight, man. Adding some simple effects, like let's do a chorus here. Let's turn it on. Todd likes a lot, of course. We want to make it wider. We go over to the delay, and all you got to do, man, to make this thing go into the next level is just turn up the mix a little bit. Okay, we go back to the modulation. Let's say we don't want the chorus. Let's try a flanger, you know. You can hear how big and spacious that is. What about the phaser? Bring that down, make it more mild. Maybe you just don't even want any effects in there. So what's mind-blowing about this really inexpensive piece of hardware is Tonex is really providing you, is they really are squeezing out as much quality of effects that you can get out of such a unit, and with this editor in mind. This thing blows away so many other digital processors. Man, Tonex is really doing an awesome job here. You know, you can look at your amp settings here, man. Presence, depth, mix. You got hertz for your bass. And when have you ever seen that? You know, but it's very simplified. Pre and post makes a big difference too. And so it's just, I found this to be completely like, wow, this is crazy. For 150 bucks, they're giving you all these options to do all of this modification, but with ease, like with real ease. It doesn't, it's like crayon kind of stuff here, you know, even with the IRs and the cabinets you can choose from, and it's just so simple to use. And the way that I'm using it now is really, really nice, you know, because I have this sound. Click off my distortion. I mean, if you guys really want to simplify tones and get some really good high-end effects with the delays and reverbs and the stuff that we use most often, I don't think you can get any better than that. Everything else will be very digitalized. I've had some units, you know, and sometimes, you know, the digital processing is just really ugly. It doesn't sound good. It's lacking character. The effects don't have a real richness and depth. But Tonex, with this simple little, you know, unit here, you can run it through your pedal board. And of course, you can use it for other things, but just imagine how simple this is, running out of your effects chain. You use your Crybaby, you can use, it does have its own, you know, tuner built in there too, but, and I'm using this Ultra Metal, you know, I love this thing, man. It was only 25 bucks, but that Behringer Ultra Metal, I compared it to the Boss, you know, what is it, Waga or whatever that is, their higher end distortion. This thing came in perfectly. It has a really good adjustable distortion, and it's just as good as their higher end stuff. I think, to me, Behringer comes out with a lot of stuff. Maybe not all of it's good, but with this Ultra Metal, this was definitely a winner chicken dinner. But see how simple my layout is, and when I'm not using it for anything like this, then I'll just run a chord out of the flashback into my Yamaha, and I'll run just these two effects, or I have another cable down here to plug in the same out jack to run my DSPs. So there you go, guys. This is my input on the Tonex plug. This thing goes far, and now you can use the Tonex editor to really come up with some really, really high-end quality effects. At how much? Yeah, 150 bucks. So think about that and compare it to what we normally use in the world of effects. See, that's the whole thing where these other companies now understand what we want as guitar players, and others are still missing the mark because digital processing, a lot of that gets just over inundated with just too much it being processed and too digitalized, where Tonex is really trying to tone capture a lot of the better effects and giving us limited effects, but the effects that we use most often, and giving you quality effects that really make a big difference. I compared this to, like, what did I recently buy? The more GE 1000, which was like almost 300 bucks or something like that. Just totally just smoked it. So in regards to Tonex, this is a great product. I would highly recommend it, and you can run it as it's designed to, with just plugging it into your guitar with some headphones, or you can use the headphone jack and plug it into your mixer or your digital recorder for your output coming out of your monitors instead. And then you can also, because of that, run your USB cable into your computer, and then you can run this editor. This is a great editor. I'm surprised Fractal didn't capitalize in having us kind of see it in that perspective. Cab based on, they could have had a little question mark, by their cab selections or their effects, based on. I like that. That is really informative, when you're like, well, what is this cab based on? Eddie Van Halen 412 ST, Marshall. So that's very informative. I think that is just really, really good programming right there. That is really good programming. I give 2 thumbs up to the guys over at Tonex, the developers and the editors, to come up with this sort of menu. This is really, really nice. And again, you got your delays, your reverbs, and each effect you can do post, last. It's just very, very nice options, and really nice when it comes to simplifying something that some companies just love to make it complicated. And it just doesn't have to be for the tones that we're using today and most often. You like Stadium Rock? You can go that. You like super clean with just a hint of delay and some really good reverb? You got it here. And you like a clean with some really ambient chorus, and then you just want to, jump on your distortion box and get nice and dirty. You can do that. I'm almost wanting to believe that a Bluetooth 4-button controller might even change the channels, the presets. Now, that's just an assumption. I don't know. I mean, it is Bluetooth. So if you had a Bluetooth controller, switchable controller, would it be able to communicate with that and then switch your banks up and down? That would be awesome too. And then you can have a Bluetooth little controller right here where you don't even have to rely on the editor to change your banks, because it is running Bluetooth. So let's not forget that there's even that other element. I think I'm going to try that just to see, like, how far can you take a $150 unit to the next level? Because I don't know who's ever done this with that unit so far, but other than just plugging it into your guitar and using your phone. But this can be like your main rig in your home recording studio, just based on the simplified sound with the quality of tone. Anyway, I'm ragging on. I got some things I want to do today. Thank you for hanging with me for all this time. Thank you for your comments with the Fractal AM4 is not for everybody. And, most people, it kind of, rubbed them the wrong way. That's what we're here for, to kind of just, You know, everyone has a certain perspective. Some people like Chevy, some people like Ford, you know, Line 6, Stadium, Helix, you name it, Boss. There's so many things to do, but I just am not going to be sold on one product being the ultimate thing. And a lot of famous guitar players, you know, they're not all into the fractal world. A lot of them do use fractal for certain things, but a lot of them are using other units, you know, the quad cortex or the Tonex, or, you know, there's just so much variety out there. As a simplified musician guitar player, you just have to decide what works best for you and just go with it. It's about having fun. It's not about complicating your life. You know, none of us are going to be making, a lot of us aren't going to be making albums anytime soon. So, you know, and a big thank you, I guess, not even a thank you, but just who would ever think that after such critical structural damage that thing would even be playable, but it is. And so it's just like I said, you know, this channel is about a lot of things, and that was sort of a trial, right? We didn't really know if that would fix the issue, but you know, what can we say about it? It's a functioning guitar. We saved it from the trash, the body, you know, and it's a nice looking guitar. Imagine having to throw that away. That's kind of what I was fighting against. I didn't want to just, I wanted to give it whatever chance I could without being a luthier, but that was a very nasty crack. And even though I got my money back, it's a free guitar. It's functioning, but it sounds great, plays great. It really does. So I don't know. This guitar was very forgiving. So, and some things deserve a second chance. You know, I gave it a second chance, man, and I loved it. I gave it the love it needed, and it gave back. So, you know, is it perfect? No, but it doesn't have to be. It's just that we saved it from the trash, you know. It's got good stuff. This guitar for the money, for $210, some people better watch out, because Leo Jaymz is, you know, for this one unit with a nice headstock, it's not that goofy headstock, you know. They all like to mimic the Shure headstock. So many guitar companies, if you notice, they like to mimic the Shure headstock. But for the money, I think this is a great guitar. I think all of them will probably need some softening of the fret spurs that come in. But we'll check out the other unit. I mean, for $210, you can buy, you know, 5 guitars for one Fender, you know. Well, not 5, but, you know, depending on the Fender. You know, $210, 2, 4, 6, $600 is your average price for a Fender. It's 3 Leo Jaymz of this style. I don't know. Upgrade. Oh, last but not least, guys, the Firefly. So this Floyd Rose is not a good one. This is not at all being very good. These other two work fantastic. They really do. They have, I have no issue, but this one has been fighting me like a mother effer. So I went ahead and ordered a Floyd Rose 1000, and I'm going to drop it in here, and I'm going to hope that that will create the stability that is not present now. And I'm pretty sure this has everything to do with it, and the springs that it came with. So it's a mild upgrade. I think the Floyd Rose 1000 straight from Floyd Rose website is $150. So the guitar was, you know, less than 300, and so another extra $150 doesn't put you over top. But I like these pickups. They sound great. They really do. It's a nice sounding guitar, but this is definitely worth the effort of at least the $150 to change out that and get a real Floyd Rose 1000 in there, only because it's not playing as well as these. These are acting more like a Floyd Rose 1000. This one, however, is not. Very uncooperative Floyd Rose on that model. And also, this one, I've been playing this one now for quite some time, and honestly, I'm not liking these pickups. There's something shrill about them, and since I have a DiMaggio super distortion. I'm going to gut that and put that. I think I might just gut it all together and try some different pickups, but definitely I'm going to use my DiMaggio super distortion in there and just kind of maybe work a different cheap neck pickup in here. I really don't care, but these are really kind of bothering me. Every time I play through something, there's just something about them that I don't like. I love the guitar. I like the neck profile. It's a really nice instrument, but the pickups, believe it or not, they're just, I don't like them so much that that's my focus now, is getting rid of those pickups. They look cool, but not every pickup's going to sound good. And for what that is selling for, I wish they would have did a better job on the pickups. But it is what it is. And so I'm out of here, guys. Sorry for the long video, but you know, I've been playing around trying to figure out how to get more out of this Tonex plug, and by watching some YouTube videos, it just kind of hit me like, wow, I can really get all of that out of that little thing. And using that editor really raises the level of what you can squeeze out of that thing. It's amazing, you know. And you don't have to worry about it dying, because as long as you have it plugged into your USB, it's constantly being charged, so it won't die. You know, the battery, the internal battery won't die at all. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. Please leave your comments. Thanks for all of you guys who subscribe and visit here. This is a very unpromoted channel. This is just a senior citizen talking about his experiences with products, AM4, Tonex plug, and what have you, as you join me with some of the journeys with my guitars and my feedback, you know, with the Epiphone and the EMG 89. Great combination, probably the best combination for a Les Paul style guitar. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's a mouthful, right? All right, have a blessed day and take care.